currently doing this. Father's out from work, and I had a pretty relaxed day. This is something new that we're trying. So basically, Father and me used to have, and we still do have, these lovely conversations on the phone, and like it sometimes it even lasts for like half an hour, and we were like, dude, this is something that people that we would love to listen to on a podcast. And we were thinking that damn, like we should have a podcast, like, or a show like this for people like us who would be interested in listening to stuff what we talk about, right?
Exactly. Even though we've had conversation for hours, it would seem like it just lasted for 5-10 minutes. I guess that's what being in the flow state is.
What we are discussing here, we are no experts on things, but whatever we are discussing is just for our curiosity and for the sake of it, and it's fun.
You can just call these conversations that you would have with your friends, right? About any topic and every topic.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, people like us are very selective of the people we like to spend that time with, because you don't really come across someone worth it to have a stimulated, interesting, intellectual conversation with. And Fahad is one of those guys for me.
Yeah.
You were talking about the state of flow. What is exactly that in the science of it, the science aspect of it that you were thinking about?
I think a state of flow, what they say is it's a state of optimum consciousness, right?
Right.
It's a state of optimum consciousness where you are completely engaged with the task at hand. And there are no biases involved. There's no subjective experience involved. It is just objective reality and you doing the task at hand. That's it. That is what a state of flow is. And most people who play music or play musical instruments or are engaged in sports and stuff, they report being in flow a lot of times. And being in flow is a mindset. So once you have that mindset, I think you can use that anywhere and everywhere, right? Whatever task you're doing, anything going on in your life, you can switch on that flow state and you're right there.
Yeah.
And all of your biases disappear.
Right.
You're not thinking about what the other person is thinking, or you're not thinking about, what if I make a mistake or what's going to happen? Nothing. You are just focused on the task at hand and everything falls into place.
Yeah.
That's just what a flow state is.
Yeah, it is. I think I have been through that many a times when I have just been engaged purely into some creative work that you kind of even forget your body, you forget how tired you are, you forget you've had lunch, dinner, whatever it is, you forget to have water, you're just into that, and then you realize you're hours and hours into it. And that's happened with me when I've tried producing music, writing lyrics for a track, for a piece, when I've been doodling way in the past, and so it's a nice state to be in. Or especially even if you're writing, you're writing and listening to some music. Oh wow, it's insane.
So what they say about flow is you need to match your skill with the challenge at hand. So if the task you're performing is too easy, then it's gonna get boring really soon. But if the task you're doing is too complicated or too difficult for you, then you're not gonna, not even gonna reach that threshold, cross the threshold where you can enter flow, state of flow.
Right.
So you have to match the skill and the challenge of the task at hand. So that's number one.
Okay.
And the second thing is you need to get quick feedback from the activity that you're doing.
Right.
So say a musician is performing some notes, right, on the piano. He gets an immediate feedback as to how it sounds.
Yes.
When that happens, it's easier to get into a state of flow.
Right.
That's what they say.
Sometimes you don't even understand. It's as if it's not you. It's like something else is taken over.
Exactly.
And it's just
Exactly.
You don't understand that you're controlling.
You don't know you could have done it.
Yeah. It's insane.
It's like tapping into this higher form of consciousness that just guides you.
Yeah.
And you just
is that like the alpha and theta state of the brain or something like that? The higher states of the brain?
Yeah, actually people don't really know exactly how a flow state works. So this was coined by we're gonna edit it and add the name of the guy later. His name is Mihai something
Okay.
Mihai, right?
Okay.
He was the guy who coined the term flow state in the 20th century.
Okay.
And since then, so he has recognized a few flow triggers, right?
All right.
A few situations in which flow can get triggered, and how you can allow yourself to get into states in which you can achieve a flow much faster, right?
I'm definitely putting that
Yeah.
on. I'm not editing that part.
So yeah, it's just that, bro. It's just that.
It's nice. It's nice.
But there's so much about flow, bro. Like, I think flow is something that we need to read up about and like do a lot of research
Right,
on and
right.
just
We
speak
need to
about
learn
it
from
and
it.
speak about it in depth. You know?
Yeah. So, is it that is some recreational drug gonna help me? Not recreational drug, basically. Is some what was that topic that I want to talk about? Therapeutic doses, basically. So, is some sort of therapeutic dose of what do you call these?
Psychedelics.
Yeah. Is a
Yeah.
therapeutic dose of a psychedelic or
Yeah.
a minute, a relatively very small dose of a psychedelic going to help me be in the state of flow?
Exactly. So people these days, there's been a lot of research being done on microdosing. There's something
Right.
called microdosing, which is just a small threshold of what would be required to get a full-on experience of the psychedelic drug.
Right.
So a lot of people in the Silicon Valley and people, who like businessmen and stuff, they've started using psychedelics as microdoses so that they can tap into that state of consciousness,
Right.
a higher state of consciousness.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also people have attained a state of flow when they sit with breath work and stuff.
Okay.
So when you're in that state of just focusing on your thoughts,
Right.
meditation and stuff, when that happens, people tend to achieve a state of flow as well.
Right.
So there are a lot of different scenarios in which people have achieved flow. It's not limited to just doing a certain activity. Just a state of being can also be a state of flow.
Yeah.
Also, another thing I want to talk about is people these days, they tend to have a really bad relationship with problems, right?
Mhm.
So if you look at what a problem is basically one of four things, right? It either causes you stress, it either causes you pain, right? Discomfort or fear.
Right.
One of these things.
Yeah.
And the thing is, people tend to fear this, right? People tend to fear the concept of the problem itself. But
Like,
if you
for
look
example, like if you could give an example for
Yeah.
the audience, yeah.
Exactly. So say you have a presentation, right? You're thinking about it all the time. You're overthinking about the presentation,
Yeah.
and that leads to stress,
Yeah.
right? And it's not a comfortable position to be in for somebody who's never done a presentation before, right?
Right.
So it falls into two categories. It gives you stress and it gives you discomfort, right? It's a problem,
Yeah.
right? So the thing is, human beings were never designed for pleasure, right? Human
Yeah, I
beings
kind of agree
were
with that, yeah.
always designed to face problems.
Yeah.
And by problems, I mean falling into one of these categories: stress, pain, discomfort, and fear.
Yeah. So
Right.
they required all of these, right?
Exactly.
The required stress, the required
Exactly.
pain, the required fear.
Exactly. So by exposing yourself to a controllable and a short-term period, which exposes you to stress,
Right.
pain, discomfort, and fear, what you're doing is you're widening your range of experiences, right? And by widening your range of experiences, what you're doing is the next time when you're exposed to stress, which is gonna happen in life, right? Which is gonna inevitably happen,
Yeah.
you're already used to it.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you're at baseline and you're used to all of this stress,
Yeah.
and next time a small flicker of deviation from the baseline,
Exactly.
exposing you to a slight amount of stress, is not going to cause you any discomfort at all. Right?
Interesting.
So if you
It's-
think about problems this way, if you have a positive relationship with problems, and if you can look at problems in a way such that you're going to be in a better optimum state of consciousness once you've overcome the problem.
Yeah.
You get it? Once you
Yeah.
start thinking about problems that way, nothing is going to come in your way.
Right. You know, it's like I feel uncomfortable when things are pretty smooth in my life. I'm like, wait, it's not supposed to be this way. It's weird, or I don't know if it's normal if people feel this. But then it's like when you watch a movie and you know, oh, it's all a nice scene and everything, but
it's not.
yeah, shit's gonna happen. Like, you know, she's gonna hit the ceiling soon. And like at times like that, you know, when things are going pretty smooth in my life, there's like absolutely no stress, there's nothing, there's no hurdles, nothing. I begin to feel sort of uncomfortable because I'm like, wait, you know, this is not most of the times like. So it's like that 5% of that month where probably I'm feeling all good and all, but then I know that there is I'm supposed to be through something. Otherwise, I feel like I'm not growing. I feel like I'm not conditioning myself. I feel like I'm just going to lay there dormant, and you know, I'm not strong, and I need to go through some training. So
Exactly. So, like I said, right, human beings were never designed for pleasure. Because if you look at pleasure, what it does is it releases short amounts of dopamine in your brain, right?
Right.
And there is no selective dopamine. Dopamine is the same whatever activity you're doing. So say you've involved yourself in a certain pleasure during the day, that be it fast food or be it a sugar rush or anything, right?
Or
So
even
once-
scrolling through Insta Reels.
Scrolling through Insta Reels is like a perfect example of a pleasure that people engage in these days, right?
Insta scrolling stuff. It's like as if you've been possessed, and it's hours until you realize that shit. I've been on this for hours. It's insane. Yeah.
So it's the wrong kind of flow, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's the wrong kind.
In fact, even this guy on some series on Netflix or this documentary on Netflix, the guy who invented the scroll said that it's really bad, and he's not allowed his kids on Facebook.
It's called doom scrolling.
Shit.
Right? Doom
The
scrolling.
infinity scroll, basically,
Infinity
right?
scroll.
Yeah,
Just keep scrolling. Yeah.
Man. Okay. Coffee break.
Alright, let's go. So I was talking about how you can, how you can change your relationship with problems, right? By voluntarily exposing yourself to stress, pain, discomfort, and fear. So if you look at certain activities in which you can voluntarily put yourself in a situation where you face this, the best example is cold exposure.
Cold exposure.
Right? Say if you look at cold showers, right? This is something that everybody can do, in their daily lives, right? If you look at cold showers, it causes you stress, right? Because just the thought of stepping into a cold shower when it's really cold outside causes you stress, right?
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of pain involved as well. When you get into a cold shower, initially you feel a little, tinge of pain. There's discomfort, obviously, and then there's fear, right?
Right.
So a cold shower is one of the best forms of exposing yourself to stress, pain, discomfort, and fear.
Yeah.
Right? So if you can make yourself used to the fact that you're going to take a cold shower every day in the morning, you can positively change your relationship with problems, right?
Right.
So how it goes is, in the morning you wake up and then there's this cold shower in front of you. Your brain is telling you, don't do it.
Right.
Fucking don't do it.
Right.
It's not comfortable for us, don't
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
But if you go do it anyways, right? You're going against the natural
comfort,
response of your
yeah.
brain to not get into discomfort. If you can do that, it develops grit, right? Grit is one of the most important qualities to survive in the modern era, right? Without grit, you can't do anything,
Yeah.
right? You can't start a business, you can't get a good job,
Yeah.
you can't do anything without grit.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things like cold exposure, but cold exposure is one of the best things that you can do, right?
Right.
Because apart
It
from
is.
changing your relationship with problems, what it does is it also increases the amount of brown fat in your body, right? So there's research being done, this is like cutting edge research, which is being done in the past few years, right? So brown fat is the metabolically active fat that is present around the vital organs like the heart, liver, and stuff.
Yes.
This is not the useless subcutaneous fat, the yellow fat that is just doing nothing for you.
Right.
So brown fat increases your metabolic rate, and it also decreases your chances of going into hypothermia, right? So the more brown fat gets developed by more voluntary cold exposure,
Right.
the more you can get exposed to cold environments. So it's
Right,
like this good positive cycle.
Right. I heard Andrew
Which,
Huberman speak about
yeah.
this just yesterday. So
Yeah.
it's true, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the way to expose yourself to a cold shower is you get into it, you resist the feeling of the brain to, stop stepping
Right.
into the shower. You do it anyways. You
Yeah.
step into the shower.
Yeah.
After that, what happens is normally the sympathetic response of the body kicks in. So what happens is your heart rate goes up.
Right. There's
And,
an adrenaline rush.
Adrenaline rush
Yeah.
happens and all of that stuff happens. So what you can do to counter this is you start to control your breathing,
Breathing.
right?
Yeah.
So the immediate response soon after you get into a shower is you suddenly take
Yeah.
a deep breath in.
It's
right?
every day with me,
Exactly.
dude. Yeah.
You take
yeah.
a deep breath in, and what you can do is slowly try to exhale.
Yeah.
And then try to control your breath. So
Right.
what this does, it controls the release of your norepinephrine in your
Right.
body, right?
Right.
You're controlling your own stress response.
Yeah. Andrew Huberman says, sorry to cut you, Andrew Huberman says that either you try breathing slow, the way you mentioned, or you have a fast breathing pattern, like,
Yeah.
you know,
That
something
also
like
works,
that.
that also
That also works. Like, I've
Yeah.
tried both, but for me, I prefer the paced breathing
yeah.
style, you know.
Yeah.
So it kind of helps.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, dude, this is insane. Like, seriously,
Yeah.
ever since I've tried cold showers, it's also psychologically proven for you, because you kind of win the first battle to the day, right?
Yeah.
At the start of the day, you've had a cold shower.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
it should be especially something you don't like. If you love cold showers, it's not going to work, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
You should not like
okay.
cold showers.
Really? Is that-
Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah, that's what Andrew Huberman
Okay.
says.
That's
You
awesome.
should particularly not like it,
Okay.
which is what,
Wow.
which is otherwise it
amazing.
defeats the whole purpose, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
cold
I
showers,
love
and then I'm
cold
like, yeah,
showers. Right.
you love it.
Mm.
You actually love the after
exactly,
effects of it. You
Because it
love
makes
what
sense. Because if you're liking something, again, it goes
Yeah,
into pleasure. Right?
Exactly.
So there's no stress or discomfort involved.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Speaking about pleasure, I was just having this thought today, and I was thinking about, discipline, and a disciplined mind is really a resilient mind, and you're pretty above the rest of the mediocre society,
Yeah.
because you're disciplined, so you're doing something. Basically, I heard this line from someone. So discipline is something that you don't like doing, but you do it anyway.
Anyways.
And what I have tried to do is, try to convert, if it makes sense, discipline to something that I love doing. So say if that's how I started reading books, because I have never read a book in my entire life till 2014-15 when I started, and it was Robin Sharma's Who Will Cry When You Die. That book got to me.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty small book, large font, so got over quick. I think maybe about 100-200 pages or something, but pretty interesting, and a story format, which makes it all the more interesting. So I read that book, and then my love for books began, and it started from a topic that was of interest to me, peculiar interest to me. It was about life and the concept of death around that.
Yeah.
So you look at death and you reflect and you think about how you want to live your life.
Mhm.
And then so it wasn't necessary that I would now suddenly I started loving books. So I had to kind of keep that discipline of reading books. So I try to trick my mind into reading things that interest me.
Yeah.
See, there are things that right now we're, like, for example, if I'm in a business, I need to know about management, about the culture in the corporate and strategy.
Yeah.
Not necessarily topics that I would love to read about every day, but I need it
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
important if I'm going to run a business. Just an example. So what I started doing was I started just reading whatever interests me, and now it got easier for me to follow that discipline, maintain it.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking that, would it be, is it good if I convert discipline into something that I enjoy, or should it continue to be something that I don't like, so that I can develop grit, like you said, and I can have a resilient mind by doing and practicing, the whole practice of doing something that I don't like doing.
I think the whole point of life is to expand the range of your experiences. And whenever you're reaching the threshold of what you have experienced, it's gonna be uncomfortable, right? So
Yeah.
only when you can cross that threshold, you can expand your range of experiences, right? So you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations in order to grow as a person. It's
Yeah,
just that's
it is,
just
it
the
is.
human design, and I think it's a faulty design, to be honest. But that's just the way we are built. Right?
You know, Andrew Tate says this, and even Shah Rukh the other day said this. I mean, I think their philosophy is somewhat the same on similar grounds. So even Shah Rukh was saying that, see, if you're the kind of person who wants to enjoy your life and not do anything and be comfortable where you are, good. That's good to you. He even mentioned that he's envious of people who don't have this awareness and don't want to be successful, and they're just happy where they are, and all power to you, like, good for you. But for people who want to be successful and want to aspire things and have aspirations basically and want to achieve things in their life, this is Shah Rukh says that, that this is bullshit. I mean, when people say enjoy your life, take time out for yourself, sleep for 7 hours, eat well, and eat and enjoy, and relax, take time out. He said there's nothing like that. You have to continuously grind. You want to achieve a certain level in your life. There's no because he sleeps for like 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
And you have to work, and you have to put in the work. You have to grind. You have to get uncomfortable basically.
Yeah.
So,
or not, because ultimately success is what you define for yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Say
but I'm
there is
talking
somebody
about right.
You're talking about the conventional from the Western.
I'm talking about if you really want to. Like, for example, if I'm a person called ABC and I am appearing for a postgraduate exam, and I need to enter or get a scholarship for this university. I need to work my ass off for that. I can't just pass. And
you're talking about the conventional form of success.
Yes.
So this is the conventional form of success that society has kind of written down for us, right?
Yeah.
If you
not necessary if you have to follow it or not. Right?
Yeah, not necessary. But I think conventionally success means making money, becoming famous, and having possessions, right? That is the capitalistic view of success.
Very, very true.
So in those regards, it completely holds true. You have to expand the range of your consciousness and go ahead and develop grit and follow capitalism and go ahead with it.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if you want to go inwards, you can also do that. You can live an extremely fulfilling life by not doing anything. Right? By just focusing on your thoughts and letting go of yourself, letting go of your ego.
Very true.
You can go the complete opposite direction and still live a completely fulfilling life. It's just that, bro. It's just how you look at it.
It's how you look at it. And it depends on how like you said, right? What do you define as success?
Exactly.
You can go straight.
Exactly.
What do you define? What is your success? What is success for you? Doesn't have to mean that success for me means just like you. Even I need to have like 5 commercial apartments that I can rent out.
3 yachts.
3 yachts. Roam around the world. Have a bank balance. Have 3 bank accounts with the same balance, like the same thing.
Matching,
all that kind of
matching
thing. Oh man. Because you look at so many people, and we know a few of them who are pretty well-to-do, and you could even say that they're wealthy. I mean, they can leave their jobs, they can leave their businesses, and just live a fulfilled life. But then you see their faces and their expressions and the way they are says it all.
Exactly.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
I think the point of life is to be successful, but in a way that you're free, right?
Yeah.
Freedom, I think, is the ultimate form of success. You can be the richest guy having multiple businesses, but you're not free if you're always on your phone and always thinking about, okay, how am I going to expand my business in the next in the next step ahead.
Exactly. And you're not even free if you're looking at someone else's post and then you start to have this envy and comparison. Oh shit, they're there.
Comparison is the death of joy.
Yeah.
Right? The death of joy.
It is. Yeah. Seriously. Crazy. So this was fun. Damn.
So much fun, dude.
Yeah.
So much fucking fun.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You're just making it more dirty.
Wait for it. Yeah. Oh, okay.
I didn't even ask for anything. Sorry.
Oh, thanks for that.
Yeah, man.
She screwed
It's
it
happened
up.
so many times.
Yeah?
She's completely screwed it up. And I'm like, that's not the way you sell services.